So, I've been asked the question, can your personality type change if you've went through a traumatic experience? I'll say that the short answer to that question is no. See, the thing is, like I always state, your personality type is not due to like some letters, like, oh, extroverted versus introverted, intuitive versus sensing, feeling versus thinking, judging versus perceiving. Behind each of the 16 personality types, there are cognitive functions, and I'm going to keep on harping on that until like everybody just understands that. And these cognitive functions are basically what your mind is wired, like your mind wiring. Sites like 16personalities.com and all of that, they tell you like how you can potentially behave, but they tend to fail to mention the cognitive functions, which is kind of like failing to mention Jesus when you're presenting the gospel. Like there's no gospel without Jesus, therefore there's no, not to speak like heresy or anything, but there's no Myers Briggs without Jungian cognitive functions. And so, without applying the cognitive functions, then you have the people like, who are saying, like, oh, yeah, I used to be this type, but now I'm this type, not knowing that changed up the whole mind wiring process. I actually go as far to say that your personality type doesn't necessarily change, you just use your four cognitive functions differently. For example, um, let's use an INFP. An INFP who has gone through a traumatic experience could now resonate a lot with their SI and their FI. And then they're using that in a way kind of like a cycle or a loop that they're going in through, and even they can even tap into their NE and they can use their SI to reflect back on memories of the things that they've been through, and then their FI on like how like exactly that affected them personally, and then their NE to sort of like be creative and sort of like change everything that's happening to them into like a pessimistic type of manner. So then they can become cynical for that matter. In the same way, ENFPs, they can, I believe that they can like even come off like after, some time of like, being like hurt or whatever, they can come off as possibly like INTJs because their introverted feeling, their auxiliary function will become like a lot more strong, and then they'll also resonate a lot more with their TE, and their introverted feeling will not be like as bubbly, like having, it's not that they're not using their NE anymore, but it's just that now they're resonating more with their lower functions, or they're using them in an unhealthy manner. But that doesn't mean that they have now switched types, because types can act a certain way for different reasons, but your mind wiring will always stay the same. So essentially, what I'm saying is that you will always still be underneath the umbrella of ISTJ or INFP or ISFP, ESTJ, whatever your type is. According to your cognitive functions, those cognitive functions will remain the same. It will not change due to a traumatic experience. Somebody can become more introverted. That just means that they developed their introverted function more. Somebody can become more extroverted. That just means they develop their extroverted function more. Me, for example, I have definitely grown a lot more introverted over time, and it's due to like development. I've been developing my auxiliary function, and And for those of you who don't understand like what cognitive functions are, refer back to my video. Little I should be popping up like right about now. You can go look at those, and I explain all the cognitive functions in depth in two different videos. But yeah, my auxiliary function is NI, which is introverted, and I've been working on that. I've been developing it, and no matter how much I develop my NI, no matter how much I develop my TI, which is my inferior function, it'll never be as strong as my FE and my SE. So even if I'm able to get my first two functions like to kind of be like balanced, these last two will never be the same. My TI and my SE will never be on the same level. A 3-year-old will never catch up to a 10-year-old. Maybe the two adults can be the same. So then it's like, okay, I can't tell if he's extroverted or introverted, But then when you look at the last two functions, you'll always be able to tell, like, okay, no, like his SE and his TI are like different. My TI will never be like an INFJ's, and an INFJ's SE will never be like my SE. So in that sense, yeah, your type can technically not change. You can only develop it. You can only use your cognitive functions in a different manner, in a different style that makes you more individualistic. You can't change type according to traumatic experience, according to, trying to force yourself to be some type of type or whatever, because you're born with that mind wiring. So instead of trying to change your type, or instead of trying to like act as if you're something that you're not, just embrace who you are and become the best version of yourself. So yeah, hopefully I've answered that question. Leave any comments or questions that you may have pertaining to other things, and I just wanted to address that question. Continue to leave me a whole bunch of like questions and stuff. I'll be like throwing out like more of these short video type of answers every now and then, and I'm still working on the MBTI interview videos, and so like soon I should be having the ISFP one coming out with me and Jamila. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that one. It's in the making. It's in the making, and we're trying to make it like edited and all of that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Done.